Hi, class. Welcome to EDU609. And this is the fourth of the four-course series in the online educator specialization that's unique to the specialization. There's one more course that's shared by both specializations and then the capstone. But this is the fourth of the where you've really rolled up your sleeves and learned about online learning and developing online training and education materials. So here we are now. So in the first three courses, you developed your own online course. And in the last course, EDU 601, you really nailed it. You went in and you developed those lessons, you cleaned it up, and you've got this really beautiful course with a little bow on it, okay? Well, in this course, EDU 609, we're going to untie that bow and we're going to open it up and really look at the insides of your online course. Pick it apart, make sure it's ready to teach in the classroom, that it can withstand the rigors of being taught to real learners, okay? We're getting close. You're getting very close to being able to teach your course to real learners, okay? So in this class, we're going from the design and development phase into the implementation and evaluation phase. This is the phases of the ADDIE model, okay? So if I'm just going to do a quick pause and okay, I just found a really great ADDIE model infographic. I just love this. So ADDIE means analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. And that's what we do as instructional designers. And it goes this never ending, it's a cycle that goes around and round as we develop a course, and we develop and improve and refine and fix. Every time it's offered, we probably want to tweak it and do more with it. And it's iterative. That means it's cyclic. You keep going. It reiterates over and over again, okay? And remember that word iterative, because there's a blog in this class about the iterative process, how you go in and you tweak one part of your class and realize, that means I have to change another part of my class. And you reiterate that other part, your learning objectives. You redesign those based on what you're learning as you're developing your authentic assessment, okay? So in the ADDIE model, notice that in the analyze and the analysis part, you're actually thinking about your target audience characteristics. What does that sound like? Does that sound like class one? Who is your target audience? Now, there are, in instructional design, there are all kinds of tools and things where you really go in and you really analyze your learners and figure out what they know and what they don't know, where are the gaps, okay? But for the purpose of you just getting that experience, you thought about your target audience, thought about their characteristics, you thought about kind of the goals, what is it you're trying to teach. Then in the design process, you really honed in on those learning objectives, do you remember? And in the backward design, we went into the instructional strategies. What are the performance tasks? What do you think what are the big rocks that they need to know? And then what are those tasks that represent that they know those things, right? That's the design. Then you went in and started developing. You wrote your authentic assessment. You developed it, put it into the classroom, and you started to add other bits and pieces. And in the 601, you added even more. You built your lessons using the cognitive phases of cognitive learning. Cognitive presence rather, right? The triggering event and the exploration and blah, 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 right? So that's the development process. You got your course all cleaned up and now you're coming into this course having gone through the analysis, design, and development phase, and now we're looking at the implementation and evaluation phases, okay? So in this class, implementation is not really getting out there and teaching it, but you're going to be really putting your head in that space of teaching it with some tools that we're going to give you. And you're actually going to identify a learner who represent your target audience, and they're going to go into your class and give you some feedback on it, okay? It's going to be super helpful to prepare you and prepare that class for real learners, actual learners, okay? Once you get the feedback from your learner and also from another tool we're going to give you, then you're going to take that data, evaluate it. You're going to go, okay, well, learner said this, and this other tool that I used told me this about my class. Now I got to go in and tweak it. There's the reiteration. There you are again in the iterative phase, going back based on your evaluation data to fix your course. Okay, let's go back to the actual course here. Okay, so in the first week, pay attention, everybody. You're going to identify your learner, your target learner, who's going to go in and look at your class. They're going to do something called a usability study. You're going to do the usability study. This is a great skill to have as an instructional designer. And you're going to use a scale that your learner is going to use to go through your course, okay? All right, let's think about this. There's the ADDIE phase that we talked about. Please review these resources. As usual, I don't just throw them in there for no reason. They're good resources, so look at them. This usability testing, it's a little article, just warms you up about why we use usability and what it is, okay? So what we've done is we've created a form. I'm just going to show you the rating form for the adult. There's a child and an adult form, okay? So in the adult form, you're going to identify your target learner, and they're going to rate your course. You're going to give them this rating scale, and they're going to go in and say, and go to the welcome page and say, oh, the welcome information is inviting and or friendly. Strongly agree, strongly disagree. They're going to rate all these little pieces of your course, okay? And then notice here that we've got course structure and content module 1, and there's 10 questions, and always a place for comments and recommendations, and you do want those. And then module 2, same questions. And then if you have a module 3, then you can also do, your learner can also do that one, okay? And then there's just some general questions at the end. Give your learner about 30 minutes to go through your course and to give you thorough feedback. Encourage them, say, I really need your feedback, so could you really take some time and go through this for me? If they're adult, they do it on their own. If it's a child, you do it with them, okay? And we've got instructions around that for you. Now comes the usability study. Whoopee. So the usability study, we're using a think aloud technique, okay? And what it is your learner goes into your class and they just think out loud everything that comes to mind. So if they come to a welcome page and it's got a picture of you, they might say, oh, that's a very nice picture. That's very professional looking, right? Or the instructor looks really friendly. They might come to another page with a video and they go, oh, I don't want to click the video quite yet. I want to find out more about what's on the page. And oh, I'm scrolling down and now I see this. Okay, now I'm ready to go back to the video. Now I'm going to click the video and oh, look at this person who's on the video. They look like they're very knowledgeable, or they, it looks like they're in a kitchen and it looks like there's a bunch of equipment all around them and they're just talking out loud, okay? So that's what the think aloud technique is. So we've got some description of the usability study, and then to help you out, we have a script. You can actually read it if you want to, okay, to your learner. In this part of the course review, I'm going to ask you to complete an activity by blah, 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 okay? So there's a script for you. And now there is a warm-up activity. I'm going to ask you to read this. And basically the warm-up activity is helping them figure out how to think aloud. So you give them something like a pen, something simple, and you ask them to think out loud as they explore the pen or the simple object. And so, for example, I'm looking at this pen and I really like that bright orange. It's just so vivid. And I click the pen. Oh, the pen doesn't click. How interesting. I wonder how I get the ink out. Oh, I twist it. Oh, okay. And it looks like it's a little bit bent. Too bad, because this is such a nice pen. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So that's what think aloud technique is. And you have them experiment with it, and then you go, okay, you're ready. And then you get them going on the think aloud usability test. It's really fun. Now, to help you with that, we have videos. I captured some videos of an adult usability study and a child usability study, okay? Now, the thing, pardon me, one more thing about the usability test. You select a section of your course to do the usability study. So I suggest you go into one of your modules where maybe you're not so sure that the module is clean and maybe it needs some work and you want to get some feedback on that module. So you ask your learner to start. You want to take a good chunk of your course. So maybe not entire page of module 2 or module 1, but maybe a good section of it anyway. Maybe the first, maybe the trigger event and the exploration event, and maybe a little bit of the, what's the third event? Is it the, integration, okay? Maybe those 3 events, okay? And you go, okay, I'd like you to start from here. I want you to click every link and look at every video. You don't have to learn the material. This is important. I don't want you to learn it. I just want you to skim it. Just give me your first impression. If you click on a video, we won't be going through the entire video. We'll look through a little bit of it, just enough to get your impression of it. And then I'm going to ask you to move on. And then as they click, maybe they might click your pre-assessment survey, and you'll find, because it's Blackboard, which is a really ridiculous interface, that they're going to have some trouble with your pre-assessment survey. And they're going to have to click around until they understand how to get back and forth in there. So you have fun with it and figure out and watch your learners going through it. Watch this adult usability study and watch the child usability study. They're a little bit long. They're like 20, 24 minutes. But give yourself some time to watch these. You'll really learn a lot about how to have a learner go through your course and give you feedback, okay? So that's week 1. You're going to set up your learner evaluation and usability test. That's week 1, okay? I'm going to go to week 2. Now, in week 2, you have another tool that you're going to use to evaluate your own class. Do you remember the QOCI tool? Well, actually, that thing is 25 pages, but we've created a 9-page version of that gives you a chance to go through your own online course, and it asks you questions around a wide variety. Now, this is a professional tool that instructors use to evaluate their courses and also to do peer evaluation of each other's courses, okay? So, for example, the content is clear and concise list of modules. There's multimodal instruction. There's a variety of learning methods and delivery methods. There's instructor, student, and student content interaction. There's your cognitive learning, or I'm sorry, your Garrison's 3 presences in community of inquiry. There's that right there. So these are tools that people use in online learning to evaluate real online learning courses to determine the quality of them, okay? So here you go. You're getting some very professional tools in this class to evaluate your own online course. You're going to learn a lot as you evaluate your course. So now, the implementation phase of ADDIE is the first 2 weeks of this course. You're going to kind of pretend that you're in the classroom and you're the student and you're exploring the course from that perspective of being the student, okay? So you're really going to examine that, what it's like in the classroom, what your course is like with real students, okay? implementation. Then with that data, you move into the evaluation phase with the data of your learner, your usability test, and then the QOCI data that you've collected. Take that data and you're going to update your class. You're going to refine it. You're going to perfect it. Get it ready for real students, for out in the world. Okay, so that brings you then to week 3, where you're going to give me an idea of what it is you're going to teach, or give your instructor an idea of what it is you're going to improve and refine in your online course. Okay, that's week 3. Okay, week 4, the importance of iteration. Remember, I talked about the continued reiteration of developing and perfecting your course. So you get to blog about that. And then you are going to, in week 5, you're going to start thinking back, that because this is the last course of the series, you're going to think back about what you learned. You're going to think about the theory and the principles that you've learned about, and you're going to start to connect those to how you've come along and how they've helped you. The backward design worksheet and the community of inquiry, the Garrison's 3 presences, how they've helped you really develop a quality online course. And then in week 6, you're going to actually do a walkthrough of your course and connect the theory to your course. Okay, so here's where I've demonstrated social presence. And here's where I've got the 4 phases of the cognitive presence. And here's where, I'm incorporating what I learned in the Community of Practice blog that I've been examining. I got a chance to try out this technology that I got out of a blog, out of somebody's blog, right? So connecting all those theories and ideas in what you've learned and representing it in your online course. So that's it. I suggest that you start playing around with a tool that lets you have webinar experience. Screen capture your screen while you're narrating and speaking to it, just like I'm doing right now, maybe with my video. Zoom is a good one. There's other good ones. Screencast-O-Matic, I think, is people like. And start experimenting with that just kind of in the background, because you are going to need it, something like that, in week 5 and week 6. You're going to be doing a couple of multimedia. In week 5, it's really cool. You're going to be selling your course. You're going to do a course tour for your online learners, and you're going to walk through the course and go, isn't this a great course to take? And here's why this course is so great. So it's going to be a little tour, a little 5-minute tour of your course. And again, using that same kind of screen sharing. Okay? All right. I think that's kind of it. I look forward to our welcome calls. And I look forward to seeing you guys going through this course. It's going to be really super fun. So I'll be catching y'all online. Thank you.